Any politician, whether Democrat or Republican, that negotiates with Uber is essentially corrupt. That's my humble opinion. What up, folks? Once again, it is your boy Tim with another ride sharing video. Many of you may be aware already that the city of Minneapolis was negotiating a deal to give drivers higher wages, better transparency, really stop the wrongful deactivations and a host of other shit that both Uber and Lyft bestow upon us drivers every damn day. Now, it passed the city council yet again. The same shit that happened under the governor, Tim Walsh, has now happened under the mayor, Frey, of the city of Minneapolis. Same case where the lower level politicians were willing to work with Uber, Lyft, rideshare drivers and give us some of the shit we have been on our knees begging for, only to have the governor step up and veto it. In regards to the governor of Minnesota, it was literally the first veto of his entire administration. And he's been the governor of Minnesota for several years. The first thing he ever vetoed was in favor of fucking Uber, denying drivers any type of increase in wages, benefits, or anything for at least another year. Now, they went around the governor, and the politicians in the city of Minneapolis, the biggest city in that state, were also willing to give drivers a little bit of a bone, a minimum of at least $15 hourly for the time they were driving. This was going to apply once again to all rideshare drivers, at least within the city limits of Minneapolis. A couple problems with this. Obviously, giving drivers some type of guaranteed pay schedule in the city of Minneapolis without covering any of the suburbs or even the neighboring sister city like St. Paul, Minnesota, puts folks who live outside of Minneapolis at odds. I mean, if I'm making $1.40 an hour, or $1.40 per mile rather, for trips in Minneapolis, but the moment I get into a surrounding town, it drops back down to 70 or 80 cents a mile or whatever the hell they're paying, I'm not leaving Minneapolis. I'm not taking trips that involve going outside of Minneapolis. The pay drop is too significant. However, this is what we were forced to deal with for folks who are in the Minneapolis area because the governor of the state fucking vetoed the increase in wages. It was going to be statewide until the governor, Tim Walsh, vetoed it. So residents of the city of Minneapolis had fought to get something similar. This time the governor was out of the picture. It was up to the Mayor Frey of Minneapolis. Once again, his lower level politicians, very similar to the House and Senate in Minnesota, being behind helping out us drivers and simply giving it to Governor Tim Walsh to sign, and here he goes and vetoes the shit. Same thing happened at the mayoral level, where the lower level politicians, the city council, was in favor of helping out rideshare drivers, proposed a bill that the drivers in that city were happy with, handed it to the mayor, and all he had to do was sign the shit into law, at least for the city of Minneapolis. He took the same path, or very similar, that Governor Tim Walsh did, and vetoed the bill. However, there is a bittersweet mixed blessing in this, as opposed to what Tim Walsh did of the governor of the state. Tim Walsh said, fuck everybody. What Mayor Frey did, negotiated with Uber, and check this out. He made a deal for rideshare drivers that only pertains to Uber drivers. You get $1.40 per mile. That's significantly more than the base fare used to be for Uber drivers in Minneapolis. They get 51 cents per minute of wait time. You already know most markets in this country that do not have passed legislation barely get 10 cents a minute wait time. I think about 20 cents a minute is the highest I've seen for any market that hasn't had to pass some kind of law to make Uber pay them more. In your market, to my veteran drivers, do you know how much you earn per minute in wait time? In my market, it's 9 cents per minute. So if somebody goes in a store, goes in Walmart or something, and you're waiting on them, you are earning 9 cents per minute. That's basically $5.40 an hour. 60 minutes in an hour, that's $5.40 an hour. That is not worth it in any damn market in America. 51 cents per minute, now you're talking more than $30 per hour. Now we're talking. If I gotta sit and wait for your ass in the middle of winter and run my car to keep the heat going, or run my air conditioner to make sure I'm cool in summer, $5.40 an hour is not even gonna actually keep me at breaking even. So the per minute wait times with Uber and Lyft are pathetic. They are literally a loss, which is why yours truly, I don't wait for no damn body. Unless you're promising to do something for me extra as a measure of why I'm waiting. You're running in the gas station, get my ass a soda. You want me to stop at McDonald's? I'm hungry too, goddammit. That's the only way I suggest anyone wait for a passenger. Otherwise, you're doing it at a loss to your own finances. Now, in addition to this, they're offering 51 cents per minute of wait time or $5, whichever is greater, which is awesome because let's say you wait for somebody for 6 minutes. At 51 cents a minute, that's only like $3 and something. But they're saying you got to get a minimum of $5. So this is actually good for Uber drivers. But here's the catch why I stated it is a bittersweet accomplishment. It only pertains to Uber drivers. Mayor Frey negotiated this deal with Uber. If you drive for Lyft, none of this shit applies. So that means if you're driving for Lyft in the city of Minneapolis, you continue earning the same 70, 80 cents a mile you were earning from the get-go. Meanwhile, the Uber trips are paying you $1.40 per mile. So even though Uber is now being forced to pay its drivers significantly more, who the hell do you think all the drivers are going to want to drive for? Why would you, if you just completed an Uber trip at $1.40 a mile and you're logged into the Lyft app as well, and all of a sudden you get pinged for a 75-cent trip per mile, you're probably going to want to say, damn the Lyft trip, I'll wait and see when the next Uber trip comes in. At this point, it's almost double the pay per mile to drive for Uber. So even though Uber negotiated with the mayor and they have to pay their drivers more, they're probably going to get the overwhelming lion's share of drivers in that city to drive for them. Why would you drive for Lyft? 70, 80 cents a mile, 10, 12 cents a minute wait time when they're paying 51 cents a minute? I don't know how the hell the mayor wasn't advised by somebody that you have more than one ride-sharing company in this city. Why would you negotiate with only one? I get Uber is the biggest ride-sharing company, but there's a lot of us that drive for Lyft. In fact, there probably is hardly any Uber drivers out there that do not at least have the Lyft app downloaded on their phone and have permission to drive with Lyft as well, assuming they haven't been deactivated. But if you're a rideshare driver, certainly in a market as big as Minneapolis, you got Lyft on your phone as well. So how you could leave Lyft out on this, I don't understand what avenue Lyft has. You don't want to necessarily take the mayor and Uber to court for negotiating this deal without including you, because you could end up paying $1.40 a mile just like Uber is paying. However, if you leave the status quo as is, nobody's going to drive for your ass at the rate you're paying. So it may force Lyft by default to just raise their pay to drivers just to compete with Uber. Otherwise, they're essentially done in the Minneapolis market. But what do you folks think? Where the hell am I getting this wrong? Would you take trips for Lyft if you were in Minneapolis and they were paying damn near half of what Uber is now paying? Do you see the shadiness of Uber? Snatching up the mayor and negotiating with them by themselves so that they give this deal out that no one else is, which would probably allow them to monopolize the drivers. What do you folks think? Let your boy know in the comments, particularly for those who are driving in this location. I'd love to hear what you folks think. It's your boy Tim, as always. Subscribe to the damn channel. See you in the next video. Click the like button.